These are the mistakes I made when I was starting my mobile notary business, and I'm going to give you guys some tips on how you can avoid them as well. Hopefully, this helps you out if you're new into the notary business or it's just something that you want to get into. I really wish I had someone like tell me this stuff ahead of time. So if you stick to the end of this video, you will get some of the tools, the steps, the actions, and all of the things that I didn't know will be at your disposal. But what I want to say is, first thing starting off, I would say one of the biggest and most important thing I had was my ability to not set boundaries with clients. So I'll write that out for you. Not setting the boundaries with clients got really annoying and actually hurt me in a few instances. Reason being is I was not able to get out of certain situations. So for example, let me get my pen open. So I'll put not setting boundaries. So not setting boundaries was one of the things that kind of messed me up. Reason being is when you become too buddy or like friends with clients, especially when you're out doing these notary jobs, sometimes the lines can get blurred. And when they do get blurred, it becomes one of those things where it's like you'll go there to do one document, to notarize one document, but because the client thinks you're friendly and you're friends, you end up notarizing way more documents than you were supposed to, and they don't want to pay because they think, oh no, we're cool. So I mean, why would I pay? Like, we're friends, like, right? We're cool. You can't do me a solid, but that's how you make your money. So it's really important to understand or to set that boundary with clients and let them know, like, although you guys are like cool and stuff like this still is your business. This is still how you make money. And how you avoid that without even having to have that discussion is really just not being too friendly. You're trying to be charming when you go to these appointments, but you're not trying to like, you're not out here with the intentions of making friends. If that happens along the way, cool, but just remember you're really there to do the service that you need to do at the best of your abilities and go home. That's your main job. That's the main reason you're here. Next would be undercharging. And this one was, oh my gosh, I did this for a minute. Undercharging is something that I did for a minute. So when you first start off in the notary business, and honestly, any type of business, you charge basically your intrinsic worth. So what you feel like your worth is what you end up charging. And that's bad because it's not that much. So what happens is, as you stay in the notary game longer, you start developing more confidence, and then you're able to charge more. But if you start off just charging a decent amount, when you actually start to raise your prices, you won't have so much ways to raise them. So for example, let's say if you started off at $20 doing notarizations for $20, and now you want to work your way up to 100 slowly, that's a longer way rather than if you started off your prices at, let's say, 70, and then you're trying to work your way up to 100. So don't undercharge. Use the $5 strategy that I taught you guys in other videos, and you could also use the strategy I taught you guys with like taking the average of the best. You can use those two strategies. Watch my other videos if you have no idea what I'm talking about. That should help you out a lot. Next up, I would say it would be not having a solid marketing plan. So I'll put no solid marketing plan. And basically, not knowing how I was going to get clients. So when you get into this business, when you first get in, when you first get your commission, you're under the impression that, oh, sometimes some people are under the impression that, oh, I got my commission. That means I'm going to start getting clients. No, you kind of need to have a way on which you know that you can repeat getting clients. And when I say that, I mean, you have to have one sort of marketing vehicle that you know works, is profitable, and that you can repeat. And that thing needs to be your plan. So if you're better at guerrilla marketing, create, and you know how to make money from doing that guerrilla marketing, you need to be able to replicate that system so that way you can follow that same system or that same plan over and over until you get to the point that you need to get to. If you're just willy-nilly saying like, okay, maybe I'll do a little bit of ads. Okay, maybe I'll do a little bit of SEO. Okay, maybe I'll do a little bit of guerrilla marketing. You're going to be all over the place, and you'll never actually be able to get deeper in one strategy, which will actually help you make money. Because the longer you stay with doing one strategy, the better you become at it as time goes on. That's just what naturally happens. That's just what naturally happens. So in order to do that, you have to be willing to. Oops, sorry about that, guys. So in order to do that, you have to be willing to create that marketing plan. Next up is ignoring legal requirements. I didn't do that much, but I want to put that here just so that I'm bringing it to people's attention. So I'll put ignore legal requirements. I'll just put ignore legal recs. Sorry guys, my handwriting is shit. Anyways, with ignoring legal requirements, you guys need to know all your notary laws. Like, I know that when we're on social media, we're taking advice from different people, myself included. And that's why I try to stay as vague with certain things as possible, because sometimes you're taking advice from notaries in different states, and not everything that's legal in their state is legal in your state. So they may be able to do a certain strategy that you're not able to do, but because you think that, oh, I learned it from this person, I can do it too, you do the same strategy, and you might end up messing yourself up legally because it's not allowed in your state. So it's very important to look at all your state laws, what is actually legal for you as a notary in your state. Follow those procedures, follow those rules, and make sure you're not breaking it. Super important, guys. Super important. You want to do that. You want to do that. All right. Moving on to number 5. Live number 5. Not keeping proper records. All right, not keeping proper records. So when I first started off, yes, you are supposed to do that as a notary, and I was kind of doing it willy-nilly, but I didn't have a clean system. Like, I didn't have a notary journal. I didn't have my CRM set up in place. It was more so like, okay, I did this. Let me just write this down on a sheet of paper and have like scraps of paper where I put all the information down. You don't want to do like that. When you're starting off, you want to be off rip. Just come organized, because when you go ahead and you start off on a good note, it's easier to maintain a good habit than it is to try to build one. So just start off doing the better thing from the beginning. Start off doing the good habit from the beginning, so you don't have to go back and change your ways. You want to keep those proper rec keeping. Go ahead and just get a CRM that you could upload the information into, or get a notary journal so you can keep track. Because when shit does hit the fan one day, if it does, you want to be ready. You want to be able to have all the documents you need, so no one is able to come to you and say, hey, he doesn't have this, that, and the third. You want to make, he or she doesn't have this, that, and the third. You want to make sure that you have all of those things. All of those things. And don't be lazy with equipment. You need to invest in equipment. So one thing you'll always hear me say in these videos is that you don't need the top of the line, greatest equipment when you're starting off as a notary, because what you want to do is make sure that your expenses are as low as possible. So that way, when you start making money, you can turn a profit a lot faster. But when you have all the highest top of the line notary gear, like that guy that goes to the basketball court with all the newest stuff but doesn't know how to play, then you're just wasting money. You need to invest in good equipment, and you need to invest in equipment, period. But you do that as you grow. As you start becoming more profitable and making more money from your business, you invest a portion of that money back into the business. So if you have a rinky-dink cardboard clipboard, all right, now I can go ahead and buy a nice plastic clipboard, hard plastic clipboard where I can keep documents in. You need to invest in your equipment like that, so it makes your ease of life and your ability to work within your business a lot smoother. You definitely need to do that to make things a lot smoother. One thing I will say you need to be careful with is over promising your availability, because I know straight out the gate, let me just put that there. The one thing I'll say is, like, you gotta be careful with over promising your availability, because when you first get into the notary game, when you get clients, you want to say, hey, I'm 24/7, hey, I'm this, that, and the third, but you're not able to service them. Most people do that just because they do that because they just want the business. They're just trying to get it because they're not used to having clients. So now they got to say that they can do all these things that they can't live up to. Problem is, when you're doing things like that, it's really stopping you from getting to the next level, because if they leave reviews and talk about how you didn't show up to the appointment, all you're really doing at that point is hurting yourself. All you're doing is hurting yourself. But yeah, these are like the main mistakes that I made as starting off as a mobile notary. These should help you guys avoid a lot of pitfalls just doing these few things. And that's how I was avoiding it as well. So I would say if you have any questions, any problems that you're dealing with, any struggles, put that in the comments below. I can definitely help out with that. If you're curious on how we can work together, just book a call. No pressure. We could chop it up, see if we could put you on like a 4-week program to where I just walk you through and help you get to 2 to 5K every single week. But anyways, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and get that free bundle in the starter kit down below. 100% free. And there's also a mobile notary mastery kit where I give you a phone script, I give you email templates that you can use, and 300 sign services. So get it. It's extremely cheap. And peace, love. See you in the next video. Boy Knowledge is out.